Welcome to yet another episode of Service to Humanity, a program which brings to your screen activities of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as it carries out its mandate. With the commencement of the Stream 2 Empower and Knowledge and Skills program around the corner, the Humanitarian Ministry has organized the second phase of training for master trainers of the programs. Towards this end, we shall bring you highlights of the training of the master trainers which took place in Abuja in preparation for the eventual takeoff. We shall also continue with the story of the visits of the Monitoring and Evaluation Unit of the National Social Investment Programs to some institutions housing and power beneficiaries in Kuje. These and more in this episode of the program. I remain your anchor, Habiba Zakzak. Please stay tuned.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to the plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving it for some, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food we eat.
We make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, meat, and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
We begin with Management Diary with news from the Ministry and her agencies. In our lineup, Minister issues flood warnings to state and local governments just as federal government begins delivery of 12,000 metric tons of food, items to flood victims in Anambra and other affected states. Stay tuned for details.
In response to the 2022 flood situation,
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, has cautioned state governments, local government areas and community leaders of impending floods in the forthcoming weeks. Farouk gave the warning at a media briefing in Abuja, where she reiterated government's efforts in mitigating flood disasters in the country, which she described as overwhelming.
the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is deeply concerned that despite all our efforts of averting the consequence of the 2022 flooding season, unfortunately, we have recorded the loss of over 500 lives, partial or total damage of more than 90,000 houses, damage of more than 140,000 hectares of farmland, so many roads and other critical infrastructures were also affected.
Farouk noted that several state governments failed to make preparations for the floods despite strenuous attempts to prevent the effects of the flooding season predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency for 2022. As a result, the number of fatalities and property losses has increased drastically.
There was enough warning and information about the 2022 flood. Unfortunately, this is where we are. It appears that this warning was not heeded to.
While mentioning the most threatened states as Anambra, Delta, Cross River, Rivers and Bayelsa states, Farouk called on state governments to begin evacuation of persons living along water channels and other areas blocking the flow of water to higher grounds. She also revealed that a high-powered delegation led by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry will meet with state governors to urge them to strengthen their response systems in accordance with the National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan.
Stakeholders should also work within their respective mandate to prevent deaths, due to flood or other health-related disasters that are aftermath. We also resolved that we must initiate a bilateral discussion with authorities in Cameroon next month on the periodic opening of the Lagdo Dam.
According to the minister, stakeholders are expected to work within their respective mandates to prevent deaths due to flooding or other health-related diseases that may arise. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajiya Sadiya Umar Farouk, has announced that the federal government has commenced distribution of 12,000 metric tons of food and non-food items to states devastated by the recent floods. The minister, who was represented by the Director, Humanitarian Affairs, Alhaji Ali Grema, made the announcement at the 2022 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction event held in Abuja. According to Farouk, efforts are being stepped up to address the challenges of flooding in the country. She further stated that the ministry and all relevant stakeholders are working on implementing the National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan that was recently approved by the Federal Executive Council. Anambra State, being the first to receive the food and non-food items, has taken delivery of items including 7,350 nylon mats, 1,000 treated mosquito nets, 600 cartons of bathing soap, 2,500 pieces of Guinea brocade, 5 yards each, 1,000 pieces of brand new children wares, 1,000 brand new women's wares, and 1,000 pieces of men's wares. Other items to be delivered to the state would be 1,400 bags of 10 kilogram rice, 1,400 bags of 10 kilogram beans, 1,400 bags of 10 kilogram maize, 75 bags of salt, 75 kegs of vegetable oil, 20 liters, 100 cartons of seasoning, and 75 cartons of tinned tomatoes.
You are still watching Service to Humanity, your window into the activities of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and its agencies as it carries out its mandate. Beneficiaries of the Stream 2 of the N-Power, N-Knowledge, N-Skills programs are about to be onboarded for their in-house training. To that effect, master trainers who will in turn train these beneficiaries converge in Abuja for the second phase of training to prepare them for the process. Our crew was in Abuja to bring us the story of how the training went. Keep watching.
You need to have the discipline so that you transfer the same thing to the students that you're going to give their knowledge to.
Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has carried out the second phase of training for master trainers of the N-Power, N-Knowledge and N-Skills Batch C Stream 2 programs. The master trainers, who have been drawn from different parts of the country, belong to partner vocational institutions. They are expected to conduct the training of the beneficiaries of the N-Knowledge and N-Skills programs in the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria for a period of 3 months. Beneficiaries of the N-Power N-Knowledge program shall receive 30,000 naira as transportation allowance to and from the training camp, as well as a monthly stipend of 10,000 naira for the period of the 3-month in-house training and 6-month internship. They would also receive training in the areas of N-Tech hardware, N-Tech software, and creative script writing and creative animation. Other areas include piping, masonry, automobile, carpentry, and catering.
So this structure that we are trying to build.
In his address, Nsika Popone, national team lead of the N-Power, charged the master trainers to commit themselves to carrying out their duties as expected to meet the desired goal of the programs.
This structure that we are trying to build is the inculcation of the good habits to master trainers. Once you have imbibed the ethos of the program, once you know why you are here, the reasons that you are here, and then you work accordingly, that means our program has a solid foundation.
Okon stated that master trainers should be equipped enough in order to be able to handle the training process effectively, because majority of the End Knowledge, End Skills program beneficiaries are mostly graduates of higher institutions.
And you know that we are dealing with a youth demographic. These are people that are not, you cannot take them for a ride. Most of them, for this program, about 400,000 of them are graduates. So what would you tell a graduate? About 40,000 of them are non-graduates. What you call non-graduate does not mean that you will not see graduates inside the program. They may tell you, okay, the recruitment process is that you must have a minimum of a school certificate. But I bet you when we get to the field, that you see graduates that will be challenging you in the implementation of the program. So it is not a pushover program. You know the people that you are going to deal with. You know the caliber of the youth that you are going to deal with. Any small thing, any small error that you have made, before you know it is in the social media.
Abdullahi Oshoke, personal assistant to the national team lead of N-Power, gave an overview of the N-Power program. According to him, the National Social Investment Program, NSIP, which was introduced by the federal government in 2015, was a deliberate effort to graduate Nigerians from poverty through capacity building, investment, and direct support.
The portfolio of programs grouped into 4 clusters: the Empower, the school feed, the homegrown school feeding, the JIP, and of course the conditional cash transfer. The Empower, which is the major focus of today, it's a direct intervention to enhance employability and create job opportunities. To create job opportunities for Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians between the ages of 18 to 35, across the 36 states and the FCT.
Oshoke stated that the N-Power program is not an employment scheme, but a job creation scheme which arms an individual with the required skills to become employable or an employer of labor.
If you look at many of these big construction companies, for instance, likes of Berger and so on, you realize most of their workers, the supervisors among them, are usually foreigners. And this is a critical problem, because we cannot have foreigners working in Nigeria and then we don't have Nigerians being employed as their staff. So in order to curb this unemployment, particularly in the informal sector, the construction sector, and other sectors of the economy, the Empower was designed to equip and to train young Nigerians on technical skills and technology skills.
Ibrahim Bako, Special Assistant to the Humanitarian Affairs Minister on Monitoring and Evaluation, was facilitator for the Monitoring and Evaluation training.
So each of your center will have one independent monitor attached to your center. So he'll be reporting on a daily basis. And we have a system, we call it NSIPs. So NSIPs is nothing but the National Social Investment Information Management System. So through that, they report and we collect the data, we analyze. And with that, we make the right decision. We have a monitoring level. We have the national monitoring level, and we have the state, and we have the LGA level. At national level, we send out the staff of the ministry across the country on quarterly basis to go and monitor these activities.
According to Bako, the independent monitors report directly to the Monitoring and Evaluation Unit of the NSIP, as well as work with partners of the program at the national, state, and local government level. While interacting with the national team lead of the N-Power, Nsikak Okon, he shed more light on the training.
What we have here is like saying that you lay a good foundation when you want to erect a structure. So what that means is
we have a group of what we call master trainers that we pick them from each of the states that is participating in our program. So basically what they are doing here is to give them the rudiments of what the program is all about. So when they go back, they implement it in their respective states. So it's just like creating an atmosphere for the master trainers to understand the rudiments of the program so that when they get back, they know exactly what to do.
Okon also shares with us how the master trainers were selected.
There's what we call a consultants of the program. So each consultant have a mandate. Each of these consultants, they have a mandate to group or to bring out what they call master trainers. Master trainers are owners of workshops, owners of training centers that we are going to do apprenticeship or what we call attachment, traditional apprenticeship at these respective training centers. When our trainees are doing apprenticeship, they narrate, they evaluate the trainees based on their competencies. So each of them, they have a particular training center in the respective states that they cover.
Abdullahi Oshoke, one of the facilitators of the Master Trainers training, speaks to us on the end knowledge and end skills training processes.
The end knowledge is an in-camp training. So the training will be for a period of 3 months at a central location in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. For the end knowledge, we have 12 training camps spread across the 6 geopolitical zones. And for the end skills as well, it's also an in-camp training, which will also take place for a period of 3 months across the 6 geopolitical zones, across different training camps within these geopolitical zones.
Some of the master trainers also speak about the training and their experiences.
It is going to be a kind of affirmative building strategy towards improving and envisioning and delivering part of the deliverables as promised by the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari under the leadership of Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, that is Sadia Umar Farouk.
It is very important because you have to know what you're going to deliver. You have to have an idea. There are set rules and regulations. There are things to look out for that will guide. And also it's an interactive session where you could also ask questions concerning your concerns, perhaps as a master trainer before now, and also share experiences of things that have been encountered in the field as a trainer. So I love that this will help us come together, share experiences, ask questions, and learn more, because as a trainer, one thing is that you can never stop learning.
So we have independent monitors, and we have monitors that are going to be coming from the ministries to the various centers to monitor everything that we are doing. So that is a kind of call up to everyone that is here to put in their best, knowing that they are going to be evaluated and monitored at the end of the day. And of course, the most important thing is impact. At the end of the day, the people for which this project has been enacted will feel the impact.
Welcome back. You are still onto the program Service to Humanity. The Monitoring and Evaluation Department of the Humanitarian Ministry has continued to do its best in ensuring that the purpose for which the NPower program of the NSIPs was created is being achieved. Recently, they have been visiting various centers and institutions where beneficiaries of the NPower and Health have been sent to ensure that all is going well as planned. A couple of weeks ago, we took you to Kuje Primary Healthcare Center to see how the visit of the M&E team went. And tonight, we shall bring you more stories on that same visit. Keep watching.
The Empower Health Program is one of the programs of the NSIPs offered by the federal government to help train and empower youths. Volunteers working in the Empower Health initiative will support and enhance preventive health care for families, children, and pregnant women in their local communities. The Kuje Primary Healthcare Center was visited by the monitoring and evaluation team in order to conduct an on-site evaluation of the progress of beneficiaries of the program. At the center, the MNE team went through the records and attendance of the beneficiaries to verify them and ascertain their level of commitment to the program. We interacted with some of the beneficiaries to hear their thoughts on the program and their experiences. Ali Monday, a healthcare worker, appreciates the federal government for the opportunity.
I want to say a big thank you for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs for this opportunity, and we wish more of this opportunity are created for the youth in Nigeria entirely to benefit from it.
Monday speaks further on his experience so far in the program.
You can see the number of people here are not all empowered. These are selected RI in charges and their assistants. So when we get to those facilities, it also gives us the opportunity to participate, to also have more knowledge. So actually the department have helped us a lot, and we want to say thank you to Kuje Area Council Health Department and to the HOD entirely.
Angela Pankashi, a community health worker under the Empower, thanks the federal government for the opportunity.
We really thank the federal government for giving us this opportunity. We really thank them well. I don't have any complaint. I don't have issue on my payment.
Musa Philemon, another beneficiary of the Empower and Health, speaks on how the stipends he gets from the program helps him.
The money has been helping me for investment because I'm a family man. I've been using the money for many things in my to see that I've catered for my family.
Emanuela Oko, another beneficiary with the Health Records Department at Kuje Primary Healthcare, also speaks on the program.
I really appreciate them for everything they did. They empower. They tried for us. At least some people don't have this opportunity of going out. At least with the provision of this, we're able to come out again and people know that we are graduates. The government, they really tried because they've empowered a lot of people with this. At least it's something. They tried.
Head of the Monitoring and Evaluation Team, Ibrahim Bako, encouraged the beneficiaries.
You have to understand that you're volunteers, and your issue is, you mentioned the issue of payment, and we believe that this 30,000 naira is not a salary for graduate, as we all know. Though that's the minimum wage, but it's not the salary for you. And why we call you graduate volunteers is because you volunteer to do this job, and when you volunteer to do something, it's expected that you do the work with or without the money. So, and if you look at how we do our thing, we also care about your payment. That is why whenever you're having issue with payment, you report to us directly and we work towards correcting that. So as you agree to do the job and we agree to give you the agreed amount, we're also working on that. We don't only care about you delivering the services, also us doing our part is also important.
On that note, we draw the curtains on this episode of Service to Humanity. Don't forget to send in your questions and suggestions to any of our social media platforms or drop a message on the ministry's page on Facebook or Twitter. Until I come your way again next week, stay safe.